We are to be people who persevere. You see this in verse 20 through 22. And I will tell you up front, if you are going to be one who perseveres, you need to expect rigors and remorse. Expect rejection, but don't lose sight of this. Expect to have the reward of the redeemed. Listen to how this goes. You and I need to persevere. That's what Jesus is telling them. Truly, truly, I say to you, you will weep and lament. Expect the rigors and the remorse of a battle. You will weep and lament if you are his. You will be hated if you are mine. You will be persecuted if you are mine. Expect the rejection. Listen to this. He says, you will weep and lament, but the world will rejoice. Now, I want you to think about this. Put it in your context. Where and when has your heart most broken? You will weep and lament, and in that moment, they will come and they will rejoice. You want to talk about rejection? Right? Forget for a minute the persecution. I just want you to think about this. Where and when has your heart most broken? And can you imagine somebody showing up right in your face and throwing a party? Literally rejoicing while you are just sobbing in grief. Jesus said, get ready for that. That's the degree to which you will be rejected. But don't lose sight of the fact that he says you should also, if you're going to persevere, expect the reward that comes for the redeemed. Listen to what he says in the closing of verse 20. You will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will turn to joy. Friends, you and I are going through something, no doubt. It's real. But this is not the end. I said to you earlier, we are temporary guests on this temporary time. But we are all going to spend eternity in one of two places. And for those of us that love and trust and put our faith in Jesus the Christ, have his Spirit miraculously indwelling us, there's a reward that says, no matter what you're going through here, it will turn to joy. You and I have the promise of Jesus' joy if we will literally walk with him. And in verses 21 and 22, Jesus himself gives us an illustration. He gives us a metaphor, and he says, get ready. I promise you. Now remember, I'm on my way to the cross. I promise you that your remorse will turn to reward if you will love, trust, and persevere with me. And he gives us the example in verse 21 and 22 of a woman in labor. You see, worshiping the Lord is like a woman in labor. I want you to think about this, because someone's going to say, that's just not right. I wouldn't have the guts to say that myself, but I will repeat Jesus. Okay? Jesus says right here, worshiping the Lord is like a woman in labor. Let me quote him. A woman giving birth to a child has pain because her time has come, but when her baby is born, she forgets the anguish because of her joy that a child is born into the world. So with you, now is your time of grief. But I will see you again, and you will rejoice, and no one will take your joy away. And as I read this passage, I think back to what a beautiful and powerful metaphor Jesus uses, because I get this. I watched, and I saw how, just as God told us it would, miraculously, upon the sound of the baby's scream, the mother's scream is silenced and replaced with pure joy. And I want to tell you, friends, if you are going through what feels like labor in this life, your Lord says he's worth it. And I promise you on the power and the word of God that if you will stay the course, if you will live and love through the anguish, and only for those that do and persevere to the end, per God, I promise you a reward that will blow you away forever.